Hi Stampers, this is Trevis. Today is Technique Tuesday, and so I've been working on Christmas cards, and I'm like, wait a minute, Thanksgiving comes before Christmas, so I decided to pull out my Thanksgiving fall paper instead and make an autumn card. So if you turn to page 45 in the mini catalog, you will see some awesome designer series paper, and it's called Gilded Autumn specialty paper. And it has the most gorgeous colors in it. And today we are going to play with that paper. I'm going to do very little stamping, but I'm going to show you a couple little techniques that maybe you've never seen before. So let's get started today. The stamp set that I'm going to use, I'm going to stamp one item, and I'm going to use Arrange a Wreath. And I'm going to use the Give Thanks from this set. Okay, I did not get the Thanksgiving set that's featured in the mini catalog, and so I'm excited because I haven't really played with this Arrange a Wreath set yet, and I'm looking at it thinking there's just so many possibilities with these sayings. I'm also going to use a couple sets of dies with my new Cut and Emboss. I'm going to use Stitch So Sweetly. So there's a couple dies in there that are my favorites. I'm going to stamp the saying on those. And then I'm also going to use Forever Flourishing. We've been using that a lot lately, and I'm going to cut out some foil with that, and I'm going to add that to the card. So hopefully I won't forget to do that because it's like the last thing I'm going to do. So let's get started today. The colors that are in this paper I absolutely love. So the paper itself says, of course, they tell you what colors are in it. It's Cajun Craze, Crumb Cake, Early Espresso, Mint Macaron. So that's the color that really brings everything to life, I think. And then also Very Vanilla. So Very Vanilla is very fallish. I love that it's not white. And so we're going to use the Very Vanilla as some of our card today. Okay, so I'm going to get started, and hopefully this will go smoothly. Okay, so what I have here is a piece of Mint Macaron. I've scored it, and I'm just going to fold that in half. So this is 8.5 by 5.5. So there's my card base. I also have a piece of Early Espresso, and this is 5 by 3 3/4. So I have a nice wide border doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the Mint Macaron, and I'm going to add a lot of adhesive to this because my technique requires it. Okay, so we're going to add this next. And then I have a piece of Very Vanilla. So this piece measures 4 3/4 by 3.5. So you have a small border on this piece. So we're going to add that next. Then I did cut my pieces, my strips of designer series paper. So it was a little tricky because I wanted them to line up on this piece of Very Vanilla. So my first piece I used was this one, and this one is 1 3/8 by 3 1/4. Okay, and then this piece, love this piece, Cajun Craze, very, very fallish. This is 1 3/8 by 3 1/4. But then I had to cut the center one just a little bit wider, so to make it work. So 1.5 by 3 1/4. So all three pieces are 3 1/4, but this piece is just a tiny bit wider so that the gaps are not too big. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the vanilla. Okay, just like that. Put this one next. Line up perfectly. And then this piece, and I love that side too. So yes, this has the foil on it, but I'm not going to use a whole lot of it. Okay, so now this is my technique. I hope it works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this piece. Now that it's all adhered, I'm actually going to cut this piece Then I'm going to cut a piece of it off. I know it's scary. I hope this cuts all the way through. I think it does. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to add this piece onto my base. I'm going to use a lot of cardstock. A lot of adhesive. So now what I want to do is I want this to line up perfectly. Just like that. Okay, so now the card is going to open like that, and that piece is going to stay intact. Kind of tricky. And then I cut out my pieces of, I told you I used the Stitch So Sweetly dies. So I cut this out of Early Espresso. I cut this small piece out of Very Vanilla. So these actually come in the Stitch So Sweetly, and they layer. So those I've cut for you. I mounted my stamp, the Give Thanks stamp, and I'm going to stamp that in Early Espresso. Stamp that right on here. Maybe I should move that stamp pad out of my arm. I could end up with that on my arm. Okay. And now I'm just going to adhere this to my, oh yes, we have my husband cutting the grass. Okay. And now I'm going to pop that up with some dimensionals. I'm just going to put them across the top like that, because I don't want them to stick. Oh, Trevis, you did it backwards. Dang it, girl. How many times do I do that? Gosh. What a ditz. Thought I had it perfect. Oh, sometimes I wonder. Hope you all had a great Labor Day. I did. Had a great one. I'm just a little ditzy right now. Okay, so that is going to be right there. So now when this raises, that's going to stay intact, and this is going to raise. Now, I did cut out this die, which is from the Forever Flourishing dies. I cut this out of copper foil and pop that out. I'm going to use my scissors to cut this in half like that. Take my glue, put a little bit of glue on here, a little bit of glue on this one. Told you I love this white glue. I've really become attached to it, I'd say. Stick that behind. And do I want this one up here too? I'm thinking I do. I think I want this one right here. Yes. Okay, so those are there. Now my last little technique that I want to show you is I'm going to color some pearls with my marker, my blend marker. So if you have the blend markers, the regular markers will not work, but the blends work great. Okay, so I'm going to color some pearls with this, and this is the bronze, I believe. Yes, the bronze marker, yes. And I'm just going to color 3 of these. Take just a second for these to dry. These don't take very long to dry. Oh, maybe I need to use the brush tip. I think it might work better. There we go. Okay, just let those dry for a second. I am going to use my Take a Pick tool. I'm just going to pull those off with my Take a Pick tool and add them to my card. Don't want that. There we go. some over here and put another one right here. Okay. So I love those pearls colored, and you can make them any color that you want. Okay. Also, if you have the Sharpie markers, they also work to color your pearls or your rhinestones, but they aren't in our colors, but hey, it works, so give that a shot. Okay, so there's our card today, and I think it's really cute. I like the cut. I like the difference, the way the card is made. So I just have one last thing to say, and that is that I'm going to be doing a September special, just like I did August. And this one is going to be with a Christmas set. So in the mini catalog, we have the poinsettia set, and it comes with the poinsettia dies. So poinsettia petals is the stamp set, and poinsettia dies come with it. Can't really see those unless I open them. So all of these dies come with the set. So this is a bundle that's available in the mini catalog. There's lots of things that go with it in the suite. But what I'm offering today is, for 2 weeks, I'm offering this bundle. So you get this bundle, and then everything you need to make these 3 cards. So this card is my first card. So you would get the cardstock, the real red cardstock. You would get the cut paper, designer series paper. You would get, actually the stamp set comes with everything else you need. You would get the pearls. These are awesome. These little pearls come in a little cluster. Okay. And then this stamp set, this card is another one of my favorites. So this one, you would get this piece cut for you, this piece cut for you. You would get this flocked paper, this flocked vellum, and you would get some paper to cut these out. So you would already have this. The stamp pads are not included. Okay, it would just be the stamp set. So you would need some of the stamp pads, but you would have the dies. You would have the stamp set. So it would cut all of this out with your bundle. Okay, and then this is the third card. So this card is again on real red, but this is a different designer series paper, and this is Mossy Meadow designer series paper. And then you would get these little red rhinestones, and you would get all the paper that you would need to cut these out. So this is really just white cardstock, and that is how awesome the bundle works. So for $70, you would get all of the product that you need and instructions to make these 3 cards, and you would get the bundle. So that is the September special, and today is the 7th, and so the special runs for 2 weeks from today. So on the 21st of September is your last day to purchase the bundle, and includes those 3 cards, everything you need to make those 3 cards. Okay, so I'm happy that you watched today, and if you have any questions, just text me or email me. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. So I love this card. I hope you're interested in making this design card. It's so cute. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.